I love being a farmer because it's very challenging. It's like being a CEO of a company. You have to know agronomy, you have to know how to plant, you need to know equipment, you need to be able to fix equipment, you need to be able to market, you need to be able to have relationships with end users, with crop input suppliers. And so it's a very, very complicated business. I went to university, I have lots of friends who are engineers, and they're just, computer scientists, architects, and I find that, it's very narrow. They're in a very narrow, they do one or two things, and where in a farm you do 10 or 15 or 20 things, and you have to be able to manage all those things. And I find it very challenging and very rewarding. I think Canadians need to understand that farming is a business. It's a good way of life, but it is a business. That we treat the land, it's our livelihood, and so we treat it in the most environmentally way possible. I guess we are stewards of the land, so we treat it in a way that, I've been on for 4 generations. My family's been there for 80 years, so it becomes part of who we are, and so we treat it as best we can. Perfect example is canola. If you have when the crop is starting to flower, and then a pod will come out of the flower, and that's where your seed comes from. If a bug gets onto the flower and bites into it or sucks the pollen out, they'll abort the flower and abort the pod, and so you get seed. There's insects that burrow in, lay their eggs inside the pod. The babies hatch, they eat your seeds on the way out, and then they eject out of the pod, and then your pod's gone, and so you can lose all your yield. And so it's always a battle of there's all kinds of insects. So yeah, we have to be very cognizant of that. Have to be in the field, always checking, and we have to spray for them when you need to. No. Pesticides are very, very expensive, and so we only use what we absolutely have to, and so we only spray when we have to. We spray as little as possible. The new farming techniques, we actually are far more environmentally sound as far as how we spray, how often we go over the ground. I think it's far better for the environment to spray a crop than to take a cultivator and work the land up. It's very hard in the land. It kills the organisms in the land. It affects organic matter. It releases carbon into the atmosphere. And so spraying only when we need to is by far the most environmental way to farm. We don't have the land blow anymore. We just had a huge windstorm last night, huge, and none of the land is blowing. Where 50 years ago all your land is blowing, that takes 100 years to replenish some of that topsoil. Since we started one-passing our land about 12 years ago, our organic matter has gone up over 30%. And it's our livelihood, farming, and so we protect it like, it's our business.